Last Pint Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content, but since this is one of our special edition short episodes, we don't have time to record one of our comedic adult content warning masterpieces. I mean, we could have, in about the same amount of time it took to tell you we wouldn't, but we didn't. So there. Listener discretion is advised.
Let's say I don't die in a crash with bigger stars than me, and I actually get an obituary. I've lately thought that it probably is going to read actor Kevin Bacon, dead, no Oscars, but at least he has a game named after him. The 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. In case you haven't heard of this game, the idea is that any actor alive or dead can be connected to me through our work in 6 steps or less.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello and welcome to a special edition of the New Way podcast where we break down pop culture so you don't have to. These shorter, more bite-sized episodes will feature spotlights on locations, actors, actresses, directors, writers, and more. Less preamble, more amble. We're in the Corona. We're talking to each other live, streaming on Zoom right now. I've got Ben.
Who knows when this is going to air? It could air in 2021.
If this airs in 2022, maybe there's no more Rona, but if it's anytime in the next year, we're probably
and there's
safe.
a new world order. You never know.
So that's Mr. Ben Wilson. You hear there over in Boynton, and we have from Los Angeles, Mr. Nick Santa Croce.
Well, hello there, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Awesome.
It's so good to hear your voices.
You've debunned.
He's
earlier in a man bun. I took out the headband. I'm going to let it flow today. So let it flow for this episode, Benny.
But time means nothing in these episodes. We don't know when or where they take place, and who knows? This whatever.
I actually really like that look right now. I mean, like right now, you look like a straight up model.
There you go.
Ooh, thank you, Benjamin. You make me blush on our live
That's very
stream
nice.
available on our YouTube channel.
Well,
That's the New Way YouTube.
speaking of men who look like models, this special edition New Way podcast is focused on actor Steve Buscemi. And I learned that today. It is not Buscemi. His last name is pronounced Buscemi.
Buscemi.
And he doesn't correct people because apparently the name should be pronounced, the Sicilian pronunciation is Buscemi, but his family did not take that pronunciation. So he goes, they're not wrong if they say Buscemi, so I just let it go. But we're saying his name wrong constantly, and I literally had to type it phonetically on my notes.
So it's right, but it's wrong,
say,
though.
Yeah.
The same people who are saying Buscemi are saying Yankovic, and I won't stand for it.
Yankovic.
It's lazy. It's lazy.
Jankovic.
That's all it is.
So yeah, Buscemi.
Out of respect, we'll call him Steve Buscemi today.
Buscemi. Yeah, it's going to be hard to readopt, and I talk about him so often.
But I mean,
that's like that for my last name. Actually,
Buscemi is not technically incorrect, so I don't feel bad calling him Steve Buscemi.
But it is because it's not how his name's pronounced.
Wait. Can we break from Steve Buscemi for a second and talk about me and my family?
You're on next week's episode. Sorry.
It's the same thing with the C. It's the same Italian. Like you can go st or the ch. You can you'll go either way with it. It's very flexible.
I got
Let's go Buscemi.
All right, Croce.
Buscemi.
See, that's not wrong.
Jim Croce.
I'm just like Steve Buscemi.
You're just like Steve Buscemi standing there. So just
Did I say Buscemi? Damn it.
I think we've already ruined it. Just a little bit of history on Steve Buscemi, because he's a fascinating fucking dude. If you haven't read up on him, born and raised in New York, trains at Lee Strasberg Institute before becoming a fucking firefighter for 4 years in New York, working for FDNY Engine Company 55.
Which is just research for his recent movie with Pete Davidson.
Well, oddly enough, one of the reasons he was cast in that is because after 9/11, he went back to his old firehouse and worked 12-hour shifts with them, basically going through search and rescue in the rubble of the World Trade Center after 9/11, which is crazy. And since then, he's fought for higher wages for firefighters. He's I think he was in 2014 he was appointed a honorary battalion chief of the FDNY. So there's like a big the fireman community, especially in New York, is like very reverent of him, and it was one of the reasons that they that Pete Davidson and Apatow talked about casting him in that movie, which I still have not watched yet. I do want to check that out.
It's fun. It's a good movie.
I wouldn't say it's fun.
No, I think it's a fun movie. Like I think it's well made and it's very funny.
I have to check. Yeah, I'm super excited. My brother and I are going to watch it this weekend.
I would more emotionally guard yourself than Ben set up, but yeah, give it a shot.
It's still a comedy. It's just an Apatow comedy,
All right.
which means it has heart.
It's the James L. Brooks school of cry and laugh at the same time. I know what to expect in those. But he worked as a bartender, drove an ice cream truck, and briefly apparently did stand-up comedy terribly, and talked about bombing a lot. And one of his first, I kind of remember my introduction. I kind of want to hear where you guys, where he first popped on your radar. For me, it was one of his first mainstream movies. But it was a movie called Tales from the Dark Side, which is I rented it for like I had it was like one of my birthdays. I think I might have been turning 10. It was 99, turning 11. So I had like a sleepover with a bunch of my friends, and that was one of the movies we rented was this Tales from the Dark Side with Christian Slater. Buscemi appears with his future Big Lebowski co-star Julianne Moore in Tales from the Dark Side. And Tales from the Dark Side is kind of interesting is it was technically the third Creep Show movie. It had a Stephen King based story. It had a George Romero based story, but there was something in the licensing or whatever that they made this new anthology, but it was essentially Creep Show 3. And it was good. And Buscemi was scary. It was young Buscemi, which was almost scarier.
Buscemi.
I'm not going to make it. Chicago-y.
Buscemi.
Buscemi.
Let's stop correcting.
Old habits die hard. I mean, it's the man's name.
It is true. Now, that was the first time I saw him. Do you remember kind of your intro to Buscemi, Ben?
My intro was Reservoir Dogs.
Your intro? How old were you?
7.
Jesus.
Wait, were you 7?
No, I wasn't
Probably
7.
were, right?
I saw Pulp Fiction when I was 13, and I saw like Reservoir Dogs like 2 weeks after that. So I was 13.
God, I'm gonna call up your parents after this and just. What were you doing?
Hey, my parents were very upset that I saw Pulp Fiction at that age. Like they would let me watch rated R movies, but they were like, there are certain movies that we don't want you to watch, and Pulp Fiction was one of them. And I was like 4 weeks into crew practice, and we had like a party for all of the crew members, and I was
They're on Pulp Fiction.
And I was 7th grade, and they threw on Pulp Fiction, and it was all over from there.
Those crew boys.
Crew was like, knows how to fucking party.
So then I was like, well, gotta watch everything this guy does. So went and watch Reservoir Dogs. But no, one of the things I love about Buscemi and Reservoir Dogs, see, I do that right, is he actually like low key steals that movie. Like he's one of the better performers.
Can you say
in
that about
film.
any movie he's in, pretty much?
Well, I have an interesting kind of thesis on Steve Buscemi, which I think is funny. But no, Reservoir Dogs was the thing I remember seeing him in, and I was like, I remember everyone talking about like Tim Roth and Harvey Keitel in that movie, and Madsen, yeah, of course, Michael Madsen. But yeah, Buscemi is actually probably the most rounded character and one of the better performers in that film. And then, of course, I went off on that whole Tarantino kind of the tree branch with Robert Rodriguez. Obviously, he's in Desperado. He's in he's in all
Spy
of these
Kids
films.
2 and Spy Kids 3.
Oh, hey, Spy Kids is pretty good, actually.
He's not in the first one. He only got invited for the sequel in the third one.
My favorite line in any film.
Is good.
My favorite line in any film. Do you have that queued up?
I don't.
Damn.
I don't.
That's
sorry.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he has created? And a kid's, and he carried that line with such weight. It haunted me.
He always does.
But I feel like for most people, it has to be Fargo, right?
Well,
no.
It's What is yours? What is yours, Nick?
Well, I was late to the Steve Buscemi train. I remember a delightful meme in 2011, Buscemi eyes, and I decided, I like those eyes. I should look into this. And sure enough, the man had done a ton of television and film. But seriously, No reaction. Nothing.
I mean, I
like
don't
the
know how to react to
a
it.
knowing nod.
God.
Okay, anything. Give me something.
I
For real though, it was Pete and Pete because he was Ellen's dad.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
right.
and had some really good scenes. As the
I had a
awkward
feeling
Fargo.
that was going to be your answer.
Yeah.
It's just great.
And then I think it was Fargo. And I remember when I made that connection. You're not okay with Fargo for a little while until you just let his acting prowess take over, lose yourself in the character. But I remember that was very weird for me. It was Ellen's dad getting fed into that wood chipper. To me, I don't know what you were thinking.
Well, no, and it's funny because like I'd seen him in Tales from the Dark Side, but it wasn't like really like he wasn't much on my radar. It was just a guy that I knew from a movie. I think for me the first big thing that I took notice was Billy Madison, where he basically is in a uncredited role, and has
All the Sandler stuff was really on our radar.
Well, and it's funny, and he's done the only thing he's done more than Coen Brothers movies is Sandler movies. He's in all of that for Billy Madison, Wedding Singer, Big Daddy, Mr. Deeds, and Now Pronounced You Chuck and Larry, Grown Ups, Hotel Transylvania, and Grown Ups 2. 3 of those movies are watchable, I promise you. But he's
Hotel Transylvania is great.
he's great in the one thing that we can definitely say, and one of the reasons how we kind of choose sometimes these actors or locations or movies or whatever is that Steve Buscemi is for me, I'm thinking of like a good character actor is always ripe to go through the guy does like 5 movies a year. He's always memorable. He never phones it in, and he's got such a look. It's such a distinctive look and feel that he could just show up and collect his paycheck.
Him
but
and
I never
Clint
see him
Howard
do
should
it.
start a band.
The Howard Buscemi Project.
The Unwanteds.
The Buscemi Project.
Buscemi Project would be amazing.
Oh my god.
But that actually leads me to one of my interesting things about Steve Buscemi is because
We're gonna just keep saying his full name just to say that we could do it right.
I'm gonna keep saying it.
We can do this. It's just a little bit of effort. It's like wearing a mask. We can do this.
What actor you're talking about? Oh, Steve Buscemi. In the Steve Buscemi film,
that performance was Buscemi-esque.
Yeah,
he went full Buscemi in this one. It was great.
yeah. I liked it in that one where he drove a Buscemi truck.
Oh God! I saw that thing coming like a Buscemi truck for us all. And
We're gonna try to recreate our pants pun. We're never gonna. We're chasing that dragon, man. We're never gonna get it.
It's not.
Don't you even bring it up. Don't you even talk about it. It's done.
Right,
it's
all
gone.
right, sorry.
It's all gone.
We're never gonna recreate jean shorts.
No.
I love jean shorts.
Let's go. Let's go on. Let's keep going. Let's move.
Anyways, no. What I was gonna say is that I think there are 2 types of character actors. I think they're the ones that are like just adaptable and chameleons, and they can turn into any character. And then there are those that serve the story, but they're never really different. They adapt their own characters, but they're never like outside of their zone. And I think that Steve Buscemi is definitely one of those people. I mean, the same as like I talk about like leading men that I love. They're the same in a lot of movies, like Tom Cruise or Robert Redford or whatever. Steve Buscemi is Steve Buscemi. He's never going to be one of those guys that really abandons like everything that he's about. But he's such a good actor, and he's such a good character actor that every role that he is in, he owns. And he definitely brings something to the table, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that for some of his stuff. But
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like Steve Buscemi is, you're not going to see him doing an Irish accent and like being this like
no, he's not a chameleon.
He's Steve Buscemi,
but he zags every so often. There's just a couple of things in
sure.
Boardwalk Empire.
Well, I mean,
no, Boardwalk Empire. I think it's Reb.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Ghost World is probably the for me the most.
But for
just
me,
like media
I still think that's right up his alley, though. But that's the thing is like he's so good. He's such a good actor, and that's the thing is like a lot of people will differentiate actors of saying, "Oh, you have to be like, Christian Bale and like lose or gain a bunch of fucking weight." No, that's bullshit. Like he's a consummate character actor in that he can make any role that he takes on his own, and he doesn't have to he doesn't have to do some weird transformation. He's
already weird.
He's exceptional. He's an exceptional actor because he can make any role his own, and
even using the same sort of bag of tricks,
even using his own his own mantra or whatever he typically does, if that makes sense.
And think about it. If you are tasked with, voicing Templeton the Rat, and, you can't rehash the animated cast, you go Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, you can't go full Lind.
I mean, no one is going to replace Paul Lind, but God damn it, Steve Buscemi certainly would try.
Do you know what I think it's kind of interesting when you think about that, Ben, though, is that I think he has kind of the bag of tricks, but I think there are 3 Buscemi types as far as like his career goes. So there's like the dumb young, like early in his career and stuff like Airheads, or even in Big Lebowski, he's like the kind of noob, he's like the young that doesn't really know, not super bright, can kind of play that. Then there's Loner Buscemi, which is a large part of his career, which is kind of the loner, strange guy. You don't really know what's going on.
Like, which Buscemi are you?
Exactly. And then you have crazy evil, like villain
Buscemi,
where you're like the Garland Green in Con Air, or Nucky Thompson in Boardwalk Empire, where it's like, this is like the unhinged, kind of like fucking crazy person. And they are very distinct. Like it's sort of weird to think that the guy in Airheads that plays like the dumb bass player is like going to play a head of a mob family in a TV series.
But of course they're not separated from one another. Like, it's not like Gary Oldman. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all.
You would always recognize Steve Buscemi as being him.
Well, I mean, without a mask over those eyes, I've always known that it's Steve Buscemi. I mean, it's true. You can't get past that. I'm surprised no one's brought up the Buscemi eyes meme yet. But anyways,
oh wait. Hey guys, have you heard about Buscemi eyes?
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up, Ben. Yeah, like they put pictures of Steve Buscemi's eyes on hot girls, and it was girls with Steve Buscemi eyes. Oh, thank you. It's been bugging me. I knew I was thinking about something.
I mean, like, I'm not even
actually, Matt. The first ever appearance of that meme was with Justin Bieber. But sorry. Tell me more about the Buscemi eyes meme. How dare you? Even in jest, it stings. Even in jest,
it seems like Nick knows a lot about Buscemi eyes.
It's almost like he owns that URL and has been trying to sell it for the last 10 years.
Matt.
It's not on my watch.
You said you were gonna let me build my case over the episode.
Not on my watch.
All I'm saying is SteveBuscemiEyes.com is available. If I'll be totally reasonable price, join our Patreon and DM me. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
I think another fun thing about Steve Buscemi is also that he's maybe second only to Sean Bean in being killed off in movies. And he said that part of what he does, and this is probably joking, although maybe not, you never really know, but he said that a lot of what he does when he first gets a script is flip to the end to see if his character makes it to the end of the movie. And because he said he had like a string of them at one point that had gone like on so much that he was like, I don't know that I can take another one of these. And he got the script for Michael Bay's The Island.
I was about to say, does he survive in Armageddon?
He makes it back in Armageddon. They put him back on the ship, and then he starts to come back to it. He makes it through that one. He probably was not supposed to, and he like wrote it into his contract. But no, he's in a Michael Bay movie called The Island. And he goes, that one, I didn't even make it past the first act. He's like, but Michael Bay gives good money and goes ahead and
Michael
does it.
Bay giveth and Michael Bay takes away.
Let's live in one. He's like, I let you live in one. I can't let you live in them all. I'm sorry. This is what you're known for. This is what you do. I want to.
Buscemi looked him in the eyes. He goes, I don't want to miss a thing.
I will say that's very, very nice. I will say one of my.
And he got an animal cracker and gently.
I don't want to close my Buscemi eyes.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's sort of fun about also.
Buscemi eyes, give me sweet Buscemi eyes.
How many different.
Buscemi eyes. Buscemi eyes.
How many different like things he shows up in that wind up being great. And the one ones I had completely forgotten about until I was going through the list is 30 Rock. And he has a recurring character on 30 Rock as a private eye. Right, he's like a private detective or a whatever, and he goes undercover at the school as like a teenager, and it's clearly, you know, a 60-year-old Steve Buscemi just wearing like a t-shirt and shorts and carrying a skateboard around. And
Hey,
it is
kids.
so hey fellow kids, it is so fucking I remember watching the string of his episodes and laughing so hard because it's like, and he just completely goes like full force and sells it. It's
Because he's wearing a shirt that says in the AC/DC font, "Music Lightning Bolt Band." And he goes up to them and he goes, the line is, "How do you do, fellow kids?"
oh, it's so good.
That's so funny.
I mean, every time the fastest way to my heart is a Steve Buscemi gif,
Well,
especially that.
And I mean, and it's also him just not taking himself seriously and knowing like why the joke
Steve
is
Buscemi.
funny.
You're talking about Steve Buscemi,
Yeah,
right?
Buscemi.
Okay, just Buscemi. Right? I got it. Sorry, just making sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I think it's really funny watching him in Big Fish because I really do feel like there were two separate roles in that movie that they combined into two because Steve Buscemi is so good.
Yes.
Because I don't think it was supposed to be two different. I think it was supposed to be originally two different people, and he was so good. They were just like, oh yeah, they're gonna bring him back in for like this other part.
Is that the only Tim Burton movie he's been in? Because that seems like such a dynamite pairing.
I'm pretty sure
think
that's
I'm
the
pretty
only
sure.
one he's been
Yeah.
in.
But
like,
he's
and he's so good.
In an alternate universe, someone comes up to you and they're like, okay, Johnny Depp, Steve Buscemi, who is the more Tim Burton-esque actor? It's a slam dunk. From TV to Batman, it's Steve Buscemi, right?
I don't know.
I think
Right? Both?
I think that's what so
Yeah,
I think
both is good.
that's a phenomenon with directors though also when they find their muse and they always pick like Tim Burton should pick Steve Buscemi to be the Tim Burton-esque character
It should have
in
been,
his
yeah.
things. But they don't, you know, they pick
Him
whoever.
and Helena Bonham Carter. It should have been.
It's
Johnny
like
Depp should have
it's
just
like
been,
how you see yourself, how your friends see yourself, and you know, like, it's like, oh, I'm just like Johnny Depp. That will be my
okay. Now you just gave me an idea. If anyone out there has access to deep fake technology, I want Steve Buscemi's face on Edward Scissorhands during the snow love scene with Winona Ryder.
oh yeah.
That's what I
Wow.
want to see. I
Wow.
want to see that. I know it's specific, but it
Send
would
that,
kill.
send that to Corridor
Edward
Crew.
Buscemi Hands is going to be the new big thing. It's going to be the new big show. I can see it right now. I would listen right now. I would watch Steve Buscemi in Edward Scissorhands. I would watch him in Ed Wood 100%
Oh, yeah.
as Ed
Oh, yeah.
Wood. I think you can put him in
Sweeney Todd.
Wait,
Sweeney
hold
Todd.
on.
Ichabod Crane in that shitty
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow movie. He would have made it
Hold-
good.
What? Hey, fuck you, man. Sleepy Hollow is awesome.
I knew that was going to get a
but-
rise.
but-
I knew that was going to
by-
get a rise.
But by the way,
I hate that
I,
movie.
I cannot
He
think.
loves that movie.
I know.
I fucking love Sleepy Hollow. That's
He
a great
loves-
movie.
Loves Sleepy Hollow.
It's
Sleepy
terrible.
Hollow is awesome.
Oh my god. I never knew.
It is funny. It is one of the few things
think it-
I legitimately really dislike disproportionately, and Ben really likes
You
disproportionately.
think you know a person? I had no idea. Really good score. I mean,
Great
Elton
fog,
showed up
great
for that
fog
one.
machine. I think that
Great
movie
fog
has maybe the
machine.
best fog machine of any film that's been released
Practical
in our
fog effects
lifetime.
are lit for sure. Yeah.
You guys are assholes. Anyways, I was gonna say the only other person I could potentially imagine as Ed Wood would be Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
That's I think that's it.
And let's not stop there. Buscemi is Crybaby.
No,
Buscemi is Gilbert Grape.
No.
Captain
I'm
Jack
just saying
Buscemi.
that one role.
I mean, think about Steve Buscemi in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh my god!
They become a lot more
instead of-
sinister.
But see, in that universe, he would have.
But you have heard of me, right?
This will be the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Buscemi. There are too many of them. It's great. So back to movies he's actually appeared in.
I like this hypothetical a lot more.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what are the most iconic Johnny Depp roles that he could put his hands on, but
I still want Cry Buscemi Baby.
Cry,
That's what I wanna see. That's the one I want to see. I'm
Dead
hitching my
man
wagon to that.
Buscemi.
Fear and Loathing in Buscemi.
ooh, Buscemi as Hunter
Hunter
S.
S.
Thompson.
Thompson. I think that we just cracked something here, you guys. I think that, I mean, it sounds crazy, but replace any of Johnny Depp's characters and it's at least
And you know what you're
passable.
gonna call the series, Nick? Depp Fakes. That's right. That's right. You did this to yourself.
Oh my
I learned
God,
it from watching you.
Depp fakes. And you know what? You're better for it.
What actually would be funny is to do Depp Fakes, and everyone each week thinks it's going to be a different person, but every week it's Steve Buscemi.
Always
Every
Buscemi.
week it's just another Steve Buscemi stand-in for even just like Nick of Time movie, like the Nick of Time. We'll do that for no reason. There's no discernible reason to do. Why would anyone revisit that movie? There's no reason ever.
So what song parody are we gonna settle on for the theme song?
I mean,
I
Steve
like-
Buscemi eyes is so like perfect. I just
Yeah.
love the Steve, and that's really the eyes are the windows to the soul, and where that
Right.
deep fake is going to have its its work
All right,
cut out
you
for
told me.
it are those eyes.
I really thought maybe
Do you
Fleetwood Mac was a good vibe, but I think you're right. I think you're right.
you think the deep fake engine can handle Buscemi eyes? Like, or do you think you put it into the system and it's like overloads? It's like that's what creates Skynet.
No, wait, that's where the singularity starts.
Yeah,
It's like,
we tried to capture
programming-
Buscemi eyes with a computer, and it was
Buscemi
like, there is no God. Why would you? What is this? And it just it cracks.
In
the
fact,
world
he
ends.
lives in heaven for fear of the
That's-
Depp fakes that he's created.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fakes.
It's never gonna make. It'll never be able. We don't have the computing power to pull this off.
Oh God.
Oh, poor Steve Buscemi.
No, why poor Steve Buscemi? I mean,
What if you did Blow with Buscemi and Paul Rubens in the same room? That's a pairing I want to see.
Blow would be pretty interesting.
That ever happened?
Yeah.
Was he on Pee Wee's Playhouse? Because now I'm doubting. Maybe he was. That makes sense, right? That tracks,
Sure.
wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Don't you think the crowd that Buscemi ran in early days in Hollywood probably intersected with Pee
No,
Wee's
because he
Playhouse?
wasn't. He didn't get into Hollywood until almost like his first big movie was 1990. He was in a bunch of like little like TV and like small shit part stuff until that. I think he did like an episode of Miami Vice.
I mean, like Reservoir Dogs was pretty much what.
That was his first like big meaty
big
role.
movie.
Well, no, I mean he was in Miller's Crossing and Barton Fink in 90 and 91. So that's what we should talk about. That we should talk about his work with the Coen brothers, because he kind of became like a little bit of a good luck charm for them in the 90s, and then
He was there, Johnny Depp.
not so much. He hasn't done anything with them since Lebowski.
I don't think it's since Lebowski.
Is that true? No way.
Yeah.
Was he must have been in Lady Killers or something.
No,
right?
no. What wasn't he in?
Brother Art Thou?
He was in the anthology thing, wasn't he? No,
Oh,
did he
brother,
not
right?
have a
He was
role?
in Oh Brother. He had to be in Oh Brother, right?
No, he's not no brother. He might be in the one
Wow.
the cowboy, whatever the I forget what that was called.
Yeah, the anthology thing.
The Ballad of,
Netflix. Ballad of.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
actually. I don't see him in that either.
Ballad of Buster. What is it?
Buster Scruggs.
Buster
Buster
Scruggs.
Scruggs.
Yeah, I don't. I did just learn that he is a voice in one of the most recent Transformer movies, The Last Night, playing a robot called Day Trader. I do love. I will say this about Michael Bay, and he's such a fucking lunatic. I do love that he is such a hard on for the Coen brothers, and he keeps casting Coen people, the only Coen people that will agree to do his movies, like
Turturro and
Turturro,
Buscemi.
and he got John Goodman to voice one of the robots in one of the movies. Like he gets them begrudgingly to do it.
Turturro got to eat. Y'all.
Hey,
Come on.
look, if I'm Steve Buscemi, yeah, you want me to come in and record for a day on your giant fucking robot movie? Absolutely. Like, why would I? Especially, I mean, he's got history with Bay from Armageddon and The Island too. So I mean, he's actually done in-person directing.
They're
The
probably
Island.
friends.
Maybe. Wow, that would be a hell of a hang. Just partying with Michael Bay and Steve Buscemi, talking about our new project for the deep fake? Because Michael Bay's got that technology. He's doing weird shit with that deep fake. He's got to be doing
Well,
it.
we did Transformers. We're gonna do Lion-O starring Steve Buscemi. We're gonna do
Michael
that's my
Michael
pitch.
Bay's Thundercats, starring Steve Buscemi.
Ben doesn't like the Thundercats idea. Ben, pitch is a better idea than Steve Buscemi and Thundercats. I dare you. That's Snarf.
Here's
Go.
the thing. What most people don't know is that the way that Buscemi got cast in Armageddon is he cleaned Michael Bay's car with a hose out in front. Do you guys?
Is this
not
a
get this
trivia or is this a joke?
We were down a really good path with
No, I'm
Lion-O.
actually
You
fascinated in the
guys
story
do
if this is a
realize that
real.
That's how Megan Fox got cast in Transformers. Is she
Yes,
cleaned his
yes.
fucking car?
Yeah, that, and then he picked her for a music video.
damn it.
Yeah, okay, I got it. That was just
That's a huge, horrible scandal that's resurfaced recently.
was a little bit of a stretch. I'm sorry.
That was a funny joke.
Well,
Just imagine Steve Buscemi doing a
I got
contest.
excited at first that like there was some really funny meet cute between him and Michael Bay, and then it turned into a joke, and I felt stupid, and that's what our audience is feeling right now. They feel misled.
Also, wasn't she super underage? during all
Yeah,
that
and
too?
Buscemi
She was
wasn't.
17.
No, she was 15 when they had the Bad
Yeah.
Boys 2 thing. It was a
Michael Bay has been under huge fire. Again,
Yeah, it's a big-
because of
big
the whole
issue.
thing. So that's great that we brought that up. Very timely.
All I know is that she was 17 when she was auditioning for Transformers.
Yes, but that's when she came back. He originally
But
put her
my
in.
lawyer has told me to tell him nothing else.
Well, listen, that'll teach you to interrupt my
And let me
line.
guess that your lawyer is played by Steve Buscemi. Don't say anything.
Hey.
That's all you know. She never existed before Transformers. We don't know anything.
No, he's the lawyer that he's the Lionel Hutz. You can't get the
He
A-list lawyer.
excels in all roles, like I said.
It's true. You pop him in anything. Anything. I dare you. Defy you.
Lost. By the way, this never happens.
Are we at 45 minutes?
No,
yet? Are we
that's it.
there?
This never. I was just saying that
this is
this
wonderful.
never happens. We're at
Listen.
31 minutes and we have run
I
through
think
a lot of
I
steam
think
right
that's
now.
good enough. I
We
think
have
that's-
run through a lot of steam.
That's all I
I
got.
think we've
You know
run through
what?
a lot. We've run through a lot of
Yeah.
Steve right now.
I think.
Fuck.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's fine to have a half-hour episode about Buscemi. That's all you got. You know what? Let it end organically. Let it die, Matt.
No,
Let it
I
die. No,
But I want to
Don't
talk
force
about
it.
some other things he's
Don't
done that are
force it.
good.
I want to talk about
no.
some more stuff.
I do
too.
have other stuff I want to
Despite
talk
the fact
about.
that I'm
but-
on vacation, I've been drinking since 2:00 this afternoon. But
we're
it's
never
fine.
going to top this ending, Matt. But yeah, please, let's go. Keep going. What else do you got?
Well, listen, we gotta have a Dave Newmont. We gotta the falling action's gonna happen. Well, because I want to recommend
Buscemi
some.
eyes. We did depth fake. That was it. We got
I want to
to.
recommend some Buscemi things that people might not have seen that I think they should seek out. Right?
Good idea.
One is a recent movie called The Death of Stalin. This is
Such a good movie.
by Armando Iannucci, who's the guy that created Veep. And we've talked about the other shows he's done here in The Loop, in the thick of it. Death of Stalin is a great. It's a cast
funny.
entirely built of American and British character actors, from Jason Isaacs on the British side to Jeffrey Tambor and Steve Buscemi on the American side. No one bothers with any kind of accent work whatsoever, even though they're all playing Russians, dealing with the immediate death of Stalin. And the movie goes to some dark. It has a couple of dark turns in it that I will say I'll catch you a little bit off guard, but it is super funny in general. And everyone, it's just a bunch of character actors on a set having every one of them playing to 11 and just going nuts. It's a really good flick, and Buscemi's really, really funny in it. And the other one that I've been watching, and it's kind of weird because they've turned it into an anthology series, but it's a show called Miracle Workers with little hair.
I thought you might mention a film called The Island. I'm surprised you went.
I brought that up plenty of
you
time.
did. Oh.
About that work he did with Michael Bay.
I know that's how he. Well, I mean, that's not when he met Michael Bay. He met Michael Bay when he was 15 back in the 90s, and then he brought him back for The Island when it was okay. But Miracle Workers was a.
But by the way, Steve Buscemi was never 15. He was 12 years old, and then he automatically graduated to 40.
Yeah, no, something also happened. This is I do what a theory about that. I want to get back to that in a second about the aging of Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
But Miracle Workers was a show on TBS. It's by the guy who created Man Seeking Woman, which we've recommended several times in the show. A guy named Simon Rich. He's the ex SNL writer. And the first season of Miracle Workers was another very Dream Writers-esque show that was about like employees in heaven, lower level employees in heaven that are in charge of like answering prayers for people on earth. And Buscemi plays God, and he's like fucking amazing. Like having
Not a stretch.
having the time of his life. And it's Daniel Radcliffe and I forget the actress's name. She was in Cockblockers. She's really, really good.
Took place in Chicago.
Did it? I don't know. But
Did it really?
I don't,
Yeah, I did.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
shit.
think you're just fucking with us now.
No, I'm serious. Look it up.
But
I almost brought it up in a previous podcast. Perhaps it's about Chicago.
maybe, or it's a new
We
upcoming
totally-
or an upcoming podcast.
totally
We don't
endorse-
know yet.
We totally don't record these things back to back. I mean,
Whenever
you would
we-
never know.
Whenever we record back to back, literally have not gone a single back to back recording without referencing the show that we had just recorded. We have no self control to not mention the episode we just.
Hey,
recorded.
remember
This
that
happens
show we
every
recorded that comes out 2
single
weeks from now?
time.
Hey, Nick, by the way, Damon Lindelof sucks.
Oh god! Oh god!
Oh, how? You know what? We're gonna
no.
talk
Keep
about
on
this.
Buscemi. Keep.
No,
We're gonna
So they-
talk about this. You know what? This
No,
is an hour and a half
stop,
episode
stop,
now.
Stop. No,
Oh,
we
I'm
are.
getting worked up now.
We've been legally
I'm
told.
saying-
We've been
Are you
legally
saying-
barred from saying anything further about Damon Lindelof for 30 episodes. So we're we've only made it through like 4.
That was I was just joking.
I know.
It was a joke. It was a
I
joke.
will say that
Are
what
you
is
saying that Damon Lindelof has found his
Uh,
footing
what is-
as
what is
a showrunner?
interesting-
Because I will tell you.
what
sir.
is interesting about Miracle Workers is they played a first season, and then the second season started, and it was a completely different show, and I was super confused as to what was going on until I realized that Rich, because because TBS likes him apparently, and liked Miracle Workers, they just gave him carte blanche to do one season on whatever he wants with the same cast. So the second season is all set in the Middle Ages, and it's all jokes about like looking at the Middle Ages through a modern lens, basically. And they played that for 12 episodes, and he's going to do another one, which will be God only knows what, which is kind of an amazing, like I've never seen someone get so much freedom to just kind of do like no continuity or even concept continuity at all. But
Ryan
Buscemi-
Murphy?
No, because Murphy's like still staying
Jessica
within like
Lange is the
no,
is
but
the
he's
common
telling these
thread.
ghost stories and they all like go together. But imagine if season 2 of American Horror Story was like a Benny Hill madcap comedy. Like that's like it's like there's no like none of it like actually lines up to like the one thing was about the heaven and people working on it. Now it's the Middle Ages. Like it's a really weird thing. But Buscemi's great in it as anything. But I recommend both of those. You guys have any deep cut Buscemi things or roles
I
you
have some-
specifically like?
I have some Buscemi trivia.
Oops, sorry, we're out of time, Nick. But no.
You asked me. I'm serious. You're like that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Can you guys tell me his full?
Buscemi?
No, the full character's name in Fargo.
Oh no.
No idea, right?
I mean,
he has a full
no.
name. And the Coens were always good about this. Like Donnie's full name is like 5 words that he's credited in the credits. The character's name was Carl Showalter.
Oh,
The name of his, you know what his character's name in Desperado was?
Wait,
that one I knew. It's
Buscemi.
something to do. Yeah. It was
Buscemi,
one I
yeah.
knew
No.
that was the same thing.
No. It's Buscemi was the name of the character.
Oh, okay. Okay,
In,
gotcha.
in Desperado. That's all I got, Matt.
It was Buscemi, not Buscemi.
Right.
He was really opening
I don't-
up on that one.
I don't know. Listen.
Do you remember his character's name in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, it was Honey Bunny, right?
Buddy Holly.
That's right, it's Buddy Holly. That's
he
right.
just plays Buddy
That's
Holly.
That's right.
Who actually does a pretty good Buddy Holly?
Yeah. It's what about you, Ben? Do you have any well, I was gonna say that we were talking about the aging of Steve Buscemi. What happened between Big Lebowski and like Big Fish, because like Buscemi aged like in Big Lebowski, he's the
And then
young.
he stopped aging.
I know.
And he looks totally different in Monsters Inc.
Yeah, it was, but he was very animated. So I do appreciate for a man of his age. But something happened after Big Lebowski. Like he aged very rapid. Like it's like Steve Buscemi was like 10 years old, and then he was 40 for like 30 years, and then he was like immediately 65. Like there's no gaps. You just all of a sudden just boom, all of a sudden ages, because he got very old. Like by the time he's in Boardwalk Empire, I was like, oh my god, like you were the young guy in Big Lebowski like a decade ago. It's crazy.
Jesus,
I think
lay off Steve Buscemi. For God's
Yeah, I mean-
sake. The life does
We're
that
still
to
gonna
you.
deep
You
fake the
live
shit
fast.
out of him. So what?
You
what do
live
we care?
fast.
Father Time.
Yeah, that's true.
Is, I mean,
It was all
one
those,
thing
it was all that work with Michael
nobody
Bay.
loses to.
I think it's Michael Bay. That's my opinion. Is he did
Yeah.
he did
He did
Armageddon, he did
Transformers.
Con Air, and
Yeah.
even though Bay didn't direct Con Air, but that
Now,
is
I'll
also
leave
a
you with
great
this
role.
Close enough.
I'll leave you with this question: if you could deep fake any role in any film and supplant not only Buscemi's face but delivery, you'd re-record all the lines also. What would you pick?
In any
think
film.
I have an easy one.
I think I got an easy one too. I don't have to think about it that long. Die Hard. I think I want to see him as John McClane.
I say Hans Gruber, but
Nope. Because I want him to share the screen with Rickman. I don't want to take over. I would never deep fake over Rickman, no matter what.
I like it.
What's yours, Ben?
I want him to take over Matt Damon's role in The Talented Mr. Ripley.
oh man. Oh man.
I would do it.
That's
I would watch it.
That's just me.
I would watch it.
No, it's not me.
But it sort of is. But it's
The
amazing.
movie's so much better.
It is. Fuck. It's just. Well, I mean, the only thing would be different is if he was playing the Jude Law character, but it's the same thing. So, yeah.
Am I missing something? It's just pretty.
He would have to. The idea of him playing that character, it adds a layer to the character's real drive to pull off what they're trying to pull off in the movie. Like, it's like if I don't know a comparison other than, God damn it, it's really.
See, aren't you glad you kept going on this episode? We could have a nice, tight 30-minute episode, but no. We had to keep going.
You imagine a character who spends their entire time trying to become this other character, but it's two handsome, like very traditional Hollywood handsome characters. But now one of them is like,
Not me. I mean,
it's really, there's a lot of toplessness with him on the boat. There's a lot of him just shirtless and glistening in the sun. It's there's a lot. It's a lot.
I stick by my choice. I love that idea.
I'm at a loss to even come up with one at this point. I just don't. I don't know that I can
Elizabeth
match
Berkley
either of
and
those.
striptease. Not striptease. Showgirls. Damn it.
I'm like,
Or no. Or maybe you replace Kyle MacLachlan's character in Showgirls.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Any way I
Come
go with this
on,
is going to
Matt,
be
for
mean.
God's
It's
sake.
going to be mean if any way I go with it.
it doesn't. You
What's
don't
it
wanna be
mean?
It's just, it's
Don't
like,
be mean.
because it's, but I mean,
They're the
it's,
one that said he aged 50 years in a year. That was mean.
no, I said he goes between ages. He's
I'm
still
just
the right
saying.
age.
I
He is-
don't
he
think
is-
that Steve is going to listen to this.
He
If
has
we'll
played
apologize.
he has played comedy, he's played drama, he's played
This is true.
scary.
I think we.
He
I
would
think we-
approach
I think we
anything-
propped him up pretty well.
Do you know what else? I'll
I
give
think he
trivia.
would-
Whose wedding was he best man at?
Adam Sandler.
No.
Yeah, Sandler, I guess.
No. I did not know he was best friends with this person. I never even knew they had a relationship.
Michael Bay.
No. I wish. Stanley Tucci.
Okay.
Stanley Tucci is best friends with Steve Buscemi, and Steve Buscemi was the best man at Tucci's wedding to Felicity Blunt. So there we go. Get that? That's all I got. Do that to get out of figuring out what movie I'm going to recast. I mean, other than the Pirates of the
Well, now you
Caribbean
have to.
movies, which I still think are the best, but I don't know. How about
Indiana Jones.
how about do you think this movie becomes much creepier if Steve Buscemi is in Kindergarten Cop in the Arnold Schwarzenegger role and he's
No,
like
I love that.
hiding out in the school of kids and he's
What
just
I would do is
Shut
Man,
up.
it's not a tumor.
I would keep Arnold Schwarzenegger and I would deep fake every one of the children as
Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi.
That's what I would do.
That works. That tracks.
One of us.
Spy Kids with Steve Buscemi as all the roles, just playing everyone.
Yeah,
Spy children of the corn.
Buscemi Kids.
Yeah.
Well done. Well
Well, we made it to 45 minutes, so I think that
Mercifully.
means we're done. Pretty sure that little thing popped out of the back of my neck saying, take it out of the oven, it's good to go. We want to thank you so much for listening to this Buscemi-laden.
We've done so many celebrity
Stick a
episodes.
fork in it. We're
Bus-
done.
We've done so many celebrity episodes and never had to apologize until now.
our stock full of Buscemi episode of The New Way, and we'll be back with new episodes again next week. So cheers.
Cheers.
There it is.